In this first video, we're going to be reviewing test 7, outcome 1, factoring binomials. What I would like you to do is write the problem down and then follow along with all of the steps, writing the steps. And then if I'm moving too fast, because I am going to move pretty quickly here, just pause the video, write the steps down, and then keep going. Okay, on the first one, what we're going to do is we're going to look for a GCF. When we're factoring, the first thing we want to do is look for a greatest common factor. In this example, the greatest common factor is 2x. I can divide this whole thing by 2 evenly, and both share an x, so I can divide by 2x. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to divide it. I'm going to put my GCF out front of my parentheses here. And then everything that's left over goes inside my parentheses. So 2 divided by 2 cancels or becomes 1. And then x to the third divided by x is x to the second. Then over here I have 10 divided by 2, which is 5. And then x divided by x cancels, so there's no x's left. Now in this problem, I can't factor any further, so I'm just going to leave the answer like this. Number 2, I have x squared minus 16. And again, I'm looking for a GCF here, but it doesn't look like there is anything that I can divide both of those by evenly. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go and look at a, b, and c. If you remember, a is always the number in front of the x squared, b is always the number with the x, and c is always our constant all by itself. So in this problem, a is 1. There's a 1 right there. B is 0. Because there is no x's in the middle there. And c is negative 16 from right here. What I'm going to do next is multiply a times c, which is 1 times 16, which is, of course, negative 16. And then I'm going to look for the factors of negative 16 that add to b, which is going to be 0 in this example, because b is 0. So I'm going to find all the factors of negative 16. That's negative 1 and 16, negative 2 and 8, negative 4 and 4. We're looking for the ones that add up to 0, which of course is going to be negative 4 and 4. If I add those together, they add up to 0. Now in this example, since a is 1, we can use our factors to write in factored form. So I don't have to actually split the middle in this. I can just use these numbers as my factors. And here's what the answer looks like. I have x minus 4. I got negative 4 here, so I'm going to put that negative 4 here. So x minus 4, and then I'm going to do the same thing, x plus 4, which is plus 4 from right here. Problem 3a, 4x squared minus 9. Again, I'm looking for a GCF here, but it doesn't look like there's anything I can divide both of those by. So what I'm going to do again is find a, b, and c. A is 4, b is 0 again because there's no x's, and c is negative 9. Again, I'm going to multiply a times c, which is 4 times negative 9. And again, that's negative 36. Now I'm going to find the factors of negative 36 that add up to b. Again, b is 0. So here are all of the factors of negative 36. I have negative 1 and 36, negative 2 and 18, negative 3 and 12, negative 4 and 9, negative 6 and 6. Of course, negative 6 and 6 add up to 0. So those are going to be the factors that I use. Now in this example, a is not 1. Okay, so we do have to split the middle. And here's, if you remember, what splitting the middle looks like, is I'm going to take these two factors and rewrite that 0 in the middle. So this was a 0, but now I have negative 6 and positive 6, which still add up to 0, but we can do something more with this. So here I have 4x squared minus 6x plus 6x minus 9. What I'm going to do now is split that into two parts and find the GCF. So here I have 4x squared minus 6x. I'm going to look for a GCF here, and then I'm going to look for a different GCF here, 6x minus 9. The first half looks like my GCF is going to be 2 because I can divide 4 and 6 both by 2 evenly. And then x squared and x, I can divide that by 1x. So my GCF is going to be 2x. And for the second half, 6x minus 9 looks like I'm going to have 3 as my GCF because both of these numbers can be divided evenly by 3. I'm going to take those GCFs and divide just like we did before. So I'm going to divide the first half by 2x and the second half by 3. My GCF goes outside of my parentheses. So 2x goes outside here, 3 goes outside here. When I divide, 4 divided by 2 is 2. X squared divided by x is just 1x. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. X divided by x cancels, so there's no more x's. On the second half, I have 6 divided by 3, which is 2. There's an x there. And then I have negative 9 divided by 3, which is negative 3. And you'll notice I do have 2x minus 3 in both parentheses, which is an indicator that we're doing it correctly. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to factor one of these 2x minus 3's out. I'm going to take one out, and I'm going to rewrite it out front here. And then whatever is left over is going to go into my second parenthesis. So I have a 2x here and a 3 here, a positive 3. So 2x, positive 3 goes in my second parenthesis, and my answer in factored form is 2x minus 3 from here, 2x plus 3 from right there. Example 3b. Again, I'm looking for a GCF to start, and it looks like in this case I do have a GCF. I can divide both of these. I'm looking for a GCF. My GCF is 2, so I'm going to divide by 2. I can divide both of those by 2. My GCF goes outside of my parentheses, and then I divide. 2 divided by 2 cancels or becomes 1, so I have x squared. Negative 50 divided by 2 is 25. Now what I'm going to do is factor this, but just what's inside the parentheses. So I'm going to go through that a times c process again. A is 1, b is 0 again, and c is negative 25. Okay? A times c, which is 1 times negative 25, that's negative 25. The factors of negative 25 that add up to b, which is 0. The factors of negative 25 are negative 1 and 25 and negative 5 and 5. Now here are the ones that add up. So I have negative 5 and 5. Those are 0. And I'm looking at just what's in parentheses. In this case, what's in parentheses is a 1, so I can just bring these factors to make that here. So I have x minus 5 from right here, and then x plus 5 from right here. And then one really important thing is I do have this 2 here, so I need to bring that 2 and put it back in front of the answer. And that is our answer.